Hey everyone, Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. City. I hope you're all doing very well indeed. Back today for another preview ahead of this weekend's game at Carrow Road. Buzzing to get back to Carrow Road. Actually feels like quite a while since we were last there. Of course, a couple of wins since that point and up to second in the division, which is absolutely brilliant. Norwich take on Coventry this weekend, who are currently bottom of the championship table, just a point for them so far. We'll get on to what we can expect from Coventry later. Just quickly, before we get into the nuts and bolts of things, we're once again partnering with BetMate, who will be sponsoring our preview content throughout the season. We've had such good feedback surrounding BetMate, so I'm really glad you're enjoying it. Chris and I only ever try to promote things that we think you'll like and that we genuinely like. We are doing another pot this Saturday. It's for all of the 3 o'clock championship kickoffs. Slightly different. It's £2 entry, £100 guaranteed payout. I know quite a few of you have won cash already this season, which is absolutely brilliant. Here's my team. Only rules are that you can only pick a maximum of 2 players from each team. I've gone with a defensive for Norwich City. I think that we'll keep a clean sheet this weekend. Tim Krul and Grant Hanley. Then Lindsay from Preston. Sema from Watford. Next to Ilias Chair at QPR have been really good this season. They go up against Swansea, who've conceded quite a few. And then Saar and Onadimya up front. Chris, I quite like the look of Chris's team, actually, which is a surprise. Woodman in goal for Preston. They've kept a hatful of clean sheets. A QPR defender in Paul next to Omabamidele. Johansson next to Nunez. Saar and Onadimya up front. Exactly the same as mine. That's the BetMate League then. The pot code is FFEFLSAT 3 p.m. 02. You should be able to find that on the BetMate homepage. The link to that is in the description. Coventry up next then for Norwich City. It's been a weird season for Coventry. I feel quite chuffed with my pre-season predictions so far. The one I've got so wrong though is that of Coventry. I think they've been slightly unlucky with the fact that their pitch has basically been unplayable. So most teams in the Championship have played 7 games. Coventry have played just 4, which is going to be a huge disadvantage when fixtures start to get congested. It's relentless enough as it is in this division without having to play a ton more games come the end of the season when they'll try and rearrange those fixtures. From those 4 games though, they've only picked up 1 point. They're yet to win this season. They lost 1-0 to Preston last time out, 3-2 defeat to Hull before that, a 3-2 defeat to Millwall, lost 4-1 to Bristol City, and their only point so far this season was a 1-1 draw against Sunderland on opening day. So it's been a difficult start for Coventry so far. And it's an opportunity once again for Norwich City to pick up 3 points this weekend. A fairly positive press conference from Dean Smith. The only real news is that he was disappointed he couldn't bring in a left back. No notable injury news, certainly no new injuries, which is always great to hear because it feels as if over the past 6 weeks or so, every single press conference has been player X is injured, player Y is injured, and it becomes quite draining. So to have no fresh injuries is really positive. The other big positive is the fact that Max Aarons is still at the football club. Now, he'd been linked with a move to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Apparently, Daniel Farke wanted to bring him to Germany on loan. It came late, that news, so it was unlikely that it was going to happen. But to get through a transfer window without losing any of your main players feels really positive. Pukki's still here, Cantwell's still here, Max Aarons is still here, Bamidele's still here. Like we've got a really deep squad, barring that left back position. In terms of left back, I suspect Sam Byram will be playing there on Saturday. Dean Smith said he's been happy with his recovery and looks good to go. If we can keep Sam Byram fit, which is a big if, but if we can, he's an incredible asset. He's a very good and capable defender at this level. So at the moment, with Sam Byram fit, the left back position isn't too much of a concern. If he were to get injured, you're then having to shift Kenny McLean back in there. It's far from ideal. If you've got a Kenny McLean at left back up against, say, a Saar at Watford when we play them, that's when you'll start to have issues. At the moment, we are walking on thin ice, but I think it's just about okay. You could also say the same for the right back position, where if Max Aarons was to get injured or suspended or just wasn't fit enough or something, there's not too much of a backup there because of the injuries to McCallum. Byram's having to shift into left back. So they're the main concerns. In terms of the midfield, I think that's probably the area where Dean Smith is still not so sure about his strongest duo. I think we probably had it for a couple of games with Liam Gibbs and Marcelino Nunez, who I thought were starting to form a really nice combination. So it was so unfortunate that Liam Gibbs got injured. I suspect Kenny McLean will start there, and I suspect he'll be next to Marcelino Nunez. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how we start to utilise Gabriel Sara in the coming weeks. I think there's a lot more to come from him, and I'm really excited to see what he's about. You've got Isaac Hayden, who should be returning hopefully soon. Dean Smith said he's well on his way, on the right track. So hopefully that's a positive. And I think he's going to be crucial against some of the better teams in this division. Because I still think, particularly against Sunderland and Birmingham, we did roll over possession quite easily in those areas. So that's going to be crucial. And then, of course, it's going to be interesting around Josh Sargent and Timu Pukki, because Timu Pukki has been really good in his 2 substitute appearances against Sunderland and Birmingham. Josh Sargent was August's Player of the Month. He scored goals regularly and has been really impressive playing on his own up front. So decisions to make for Dean Smith. I think for me, there's probably a couple of changes I'd like to see. I'd like to see Cantwell return to the starting 11, probably over Aaron Ramsey. Kieran Dowell's an interesting one. I'm not overly convinced with a couple of his performances so far this season, but he does seem to always be involved in goal contributions. I think I'd prefer Onel Hernandez to come off the bench rather than start. So I think for me, as long as Todd Cantwell's starting, I think that's an important matter. I think in terms of the other players that have been starting in the last couple of games, I'm fairly content with that. I'd love to hear your thoughts going into the Coventry game down in the comment section below. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait to be back at Carrow Road. And remember, BetMate, the link to download the app is in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.